What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tuesday, December 28th edition of FanDuel Tournament Plays presented by No House Advantage. I am your host, Adam Scherer. You can find me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. As a reminder, all new users to No House Advantage receive a $25 deposit bonus using the code Awesemo. Today, we're going to take a look at 5 of the best tournament options on FanDuel. Keep in mind that there is going to be plenty of late-breaking news today. Ownership projections and player projections will change throughout the day. Be sure to tune in to the Deeper Dive and Live Before Lock shows leading up to lock for more up-to-date information. But for now, looking at 5 of the early top tournament options on FanDuel. Starting at number 5, Stephen Curry, projected for 21% ownership with a 23% chance of being in the optimal lineup. He doesn't have an ideal matchup tonight against the Denver Nuggets. He's also getting Andrew Wiggins back in the lineup and losing Draymond Green, but he's still a very high upside player. We know that he's capable of just pouring in three-pointers. The FanDuel scoring system isn't quite as favorable for Curry as some other sites, but he's also not that expensive, only $10,400, point guard eligible, projected to go slightly under-owned relative to his chances of success tonight. Number 4, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 20% projected ownership, a 23% chance of being in the optimal lineup. He has small forward and power forward eligibility, so it is a little bit easier to get him into lineups, especially with that small forward piece. But he's another player where there's a couple of pay-up options that look a little bit better, but that's driving down Giannis's ownership a little bit. He has a favorable matchup against the Orlando Magic. There is some blowout risk. Milwaukee is double-digit favorites on the road, but if this game does blow out, it's still likely that Giannis has a large hand in that. And if people are going to be scared off a little bit by the spread, getting to Giannis and his ceiling in tournaments makes sense, given that he is the second best per minute fantasy producer in the NBA this season. Number 3, this one is a bit up in the air, a little bit difficult to read into right now. But Jordan McLaughlin only projected for about 16% ownership with a 25% chance of being in the optimal lineup on FanDuel. He's 3,600 with point guard eligibility. McLaughlin played 32 minutes in a start last night. Chris Finch of the Minnesota Timberwolves came out and said that although they're having a number of players clear health and safety protocols, it is highly unlikely that any of them will play tonight given conditioning issues. Patrick Beverley was listed questionable last night for conditioning purposes. So it's unclear if he's included in that statement or not. If Beverley sits tonight, McLaughlin looks like a fantastic option. If Beverley comes back, there's still a path to success for McLaughlin, but he does become a much riskier play. Number 2, Jimmy Butler, projected for a healthy 37% ownership, but with a 42% chance of being in the optimal lineup. He has small forward and shooting guard eligibility at only $8,500 against the Washington Wizards. Miami is still without Bam Adebayo. They're without Kyle Lowry. Butler has averaged over 1.3 fantasy points per minute without Adebayo on the floor this year, and he's going to have to play a huge role in this offense against Washington, both from a playmaking standpoint and a usage standpoint. So he deserves the ownership that he's getting, and he projects to be a little bit under-owned here. And then coming in as the number 1 tournament option, Jalen Noel, 46% ownership, extremely high, but also a 52% chance of being in the optimal lineup. He's only $4,000. He's a point guard, came off the bench yesterday, ended up playing about 35 minutes. Even if you get a few minutes less than that tonight, he's a high usage player. He's going to need to score the ball for the second unit with Minnesota. Similarly to Jordan McLaughlin, if Pat Beverley comes back, Noel's role becomes a little bit dicier, a little bit more difficult to trust, but he still would be likely to give you 20 to 26 minutes, somewhere in the low to mid-20s off the bench if Beverley comes back at the very least. So still looks like a strong option one way or the other, but certainly pay attention to the Patrick Beverley news. So to recap, the top 5 tournament plays on FanDuel: number 5, Stephen Curry; number 4, Giannis Antetokounmpo; number 3, Jordan McLaughlin; number 2, Jimmy Butler; and number 1, Jalen Noel.